Beautiful.
This never happens.
So let's both get our clay into this nice round ball shape. And I'm just gonna push mine onto the wheel, start centering at your leisure. And then we're gonna go through kind of how we work on this compression and like why I think it's so important to compress in a specific way. I wanna go along with you though, because I think that if I can kind of like show you my structure, I think it will resonate. So I'm just throwing a little bit of water on here, and then my left arm is going into my body. It can go your thigh, your abdomen, whatever feels comfortable, but it's this part of my hand is applying slightly downward and forward pressure from here. And then I'm grabbing some water with my right hand, and my right hand is wrapping around my left thumb. And I'm gonna start by applying downward pressure with the heel of my right hand. And I like to look at this as like a suction cup analogy. I'm trying to force any air or water out from underneath of my clay, get my clay firmly affixed to the bat before I apply that inward pressure. So keep coming down a little bit more. Great, and this should not be like anywhere close to centered at this point. So that's great, all right? So now when we're going back up, our right hand is still gonna be there supporting our left hand, but we're not actively applying any downward pressure. When I'm pushing forward, I'm actually pushing like kind of, you have the same corner that I do. I'm actually pushing diagonally forward and away, which should drive my clay up. But the more upright my hand is, the more likely it is I'm gonna push my clay off of the wheel, right? So I need to be very mindful that I'm applying downward pressure as I go in. I'm gonna show you with only one hand, but you really should support your hand because support is always better than not having support. I'm gonna now lean my body weight forward, and I'm driving my clay up into this like gentle cone shape. So try that with your hand supported, and we're not gonna go any higher than what this is. We're just gonna kind of like move in toward a cone shape.
So at an angle.
Yep, and then you're kind of like, I'm leaning, I'm not using my bicep, I'm not using like my arm, I'm leaning my body forward and down and sending that clay up. And my right hand is supporting just like yours is, but I'm allowing that clay to come up. I'm not creating resistance for that clay as I'm applying that inward pressure. And like you really kind of like lean your weight through your arm. It's not effortless, nothing in clay is effortless, but it's like, it makes it so much easier. So come up just the tiniest bit more. You add as much water as you need to, and then like, as you get better at this, we're gonna reduce the amount of water. So our clay looks essentially the same. We both have this little bit of like twist at the bottom. So we're gonna throw some water on our clay. We're gonna apply pressure in as we apply pressure down. There is more downward pressure than inward pressure, but there is still a decent amount of inward pressure. So I'm gonna gently apply inward pressure. The heel of my hand is right on top, and I'm just coming straight down.
So why are you applying that inward pressure?
The inward pressure, if we think about what's happening here, this clay, I'm pushing down here, and this clay is traveling around into my hand. If I give with this hand, I'm accommodating the irregularity. But if I apply pressure in here, I don't like to use the word force because I don't think we can ever force clay. It never goes well if we force clay. But I am coaxing the clay into conforming to where my hand is.
Okay, and I should be coming down at an angle.
A gentle, we want our center point to be the high point. Clay travels to the closest high point. So the next time we push in, our clay will rise up from the center, where if this is flat across the top and we push in, our outer point is probably gonna be the high point, and we will get a valley as we go up the second time.
Okay, so at an angle, right?
At an angle, put pressure in as you put pressure down. Yep, really try to lean in on that left hand. At some point you have to give some or the clay just won't move, but that's so great. We can both see that our clay is irregular at the bottom, right? But not too bad, right? It's like pretty close. So now we're gonna push in the same way that we did before, but we're gonna go half as high as we did the initial time. So I'm gonna push in, and you're gonna see I'm holding my hand, I'm leaning in. I am, full disclosure, focusing a little bit more pressure on that bottom. I am still pushing in diagonally though. I had an indent much like your indent and I got rid of it on this round. Coming up, but not quite as high as we did the first time.
Okay.
Great. So great. Awesome. All right. So now we're coming back down, hopefully for the last time. So we're going to throw water on here and we're really going to lean in this time from the side as we apply pressure down from the top. And we're going to look for that kind of hockey puck proportion piece of clay, which I've never played hockey a day in my life. Beautiful.
This never happens.
It's okay. It's okay. But I think that like working next to each other and seeing like, I have a little bit of something going on, right? But like,
I see something there too.
Totally within like the boundaries of perfectly okay.
So I have issues with that. I'm someone that will chronically go up, go down, up, go down until I don't see anything. And then at this point, I'm like, I don't even want to throw anymore. So I have been opening, knowing that there's an irregularity. And I think it's been helpful for me to do that because I am learning how to throw and address an irregularity as I'm pulling my walls up.
I think it's such a metaphor for life. It's like we can do everything that we can to try to make life perfect. But there's always going to be the rock in our shoe. There's always the thing that you can't account for. You know what? Sometimes there's going to be that spot that we can't get out. And ultimately, sometimes the pot isn't going to work out, and that's okay. We should be enjoying the process and kind of like trying to let go a little bit. Your mindset is really good. Like sticking with it, trying to get it to be what you want it to be is a really good quality. And then just knowing sometimes like, you know what, I've gone up and down enough. Let's
surrender to the clay.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open. I'm going to drop some water on the top of my piece of clay. I'm supporting with my non-dominant hand against my dominant finger. You can open it a bunch of different ways. I open with my pointer finger. There's nothing wrong with like stacking your thumbs. There's nothing wrong with sort of like using your hand. Whatever works for you is great. Making sure that you're able to isolate motion and open precisely is important. So however that works for you. I'm going to throw some water on. I'm supporting my finger and I am opening in a conical way. In a cone, only the center of the cone can be the middle. If I start from a hole straight down, I can kind of wormhole my way down and create an irregular opening without even really knowing it. So by opening with this conical opening, I'm already setting myself up for success. So I'm not quite at the depth that I need to be, so I'm going to throw a little more water in there and pushing down. I'm trying to leave a little bit of extra material in there with the thought in mind that you will want to trim a shallow foot. So I have, I'd say 3/8 of an inch in the bottom of my pot. One thing that people don't always know is that the pressure that I'm applying, I'm not applying it with my finger. I'm applying it with my non-dominant hand. I'm almost using my own hand as a tool. And I think that that helps with precision. Also, I talk a lot about in classes this triangle. So my elbows are into my body, my hands are connected together, and this triangle creates stability for myself so that I can be precise as I open that opening.
Okay.
It's double redundant, but that's okay. Yep, go nice and slow, and if friction dissipates your water, gently release that pressure, and then put a little more water in there. Okay, so do you see how you have a little indentation there? Yeah. You're a little in front of center. You want the furthest part of your finger to be just behind the center point.
Like right here?
Yep. And it should open without that indentation when you do that. Couldn't be any better. So your depth is great. Everything about this looks great. Thanks for being a part of this community. So everybody, if you have any questions for the Clay Doctor, I mentioned this before, but if you're in the DC metro area or you're traveling to the area and you want to be on the Clay Doctor, maybe we can try to make that happen. I'd also love to do this virtually. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to help with those things. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe below. Thanks.
I totally blacked out what you just said, by the way.
Industrial space, what are you gonna do?
You probably will have to edit me centering for 15 minutes.
We're gonna get there, and we're gonna get there together.